r/MaliciousCompliance. Posted by user Jaunt645. I had my employees call and wake up my boss every 15 minutes. I supervised a glass manufacturing department. One night we had an issue with a thermocouple that controls the temperature of the glass. Because it was creating nuisance alarms, the operator disconnected it and forgot to notify the next shift to monitor it manually. We lost control of the furnace for a couple of hours and scrapped the product. The plant manager came in that morning screaming and ripped the entire staff a new one. We were trying to explain that the thermocouple needed to be fixed, but instead, he continued to yell at us, tell us we were idiots and told us to monitor it and notify him every time it went into alarm, or else he would fire us. To further reprimand us, he insisted that we call him at home in the evening every time that temperature went into alarm so he could ensure we were doing our jobs. What he did not know, and what we knew, was that the alarm for the broken thermocouple happened about every 15 minutes. My operator was worried and asked me what he should do. Since the plant manager was so insistent, I told the operator to wait until after midnight, then call and inform him every time it happened according to his direct request. The plant manager came into work the next morning very bleary-eyed, and sheepishly told us that we did not have to do that again. He finally listened to us and we got the problem fixed. TLDR, if you are abusive to my people, I will be a total dick. Posted by user Artie McShitface. Reject my idea and then praise the dumb idea from the boss's daughter. Sure, let's do it her way. So, back when I was a university student, I got hired for a summer vacation position at a dog training school to design and maintain their website. It was kind of one of those scam-y sorts of certifications that would never land anyone a job anywhere, but it was a thing and the school was fairly popular. Now, this was back in the day before MySpace, where GeoCities websites were our own little touch on the internet. If you are young enough to never have had the pleasure of visiting a GeoCities site, here are a few of the common themes, like the Dawson's Creek theme? Not for long. Because your inner ear canal is going to be eviscerated on half the ones you visit with, so open up your morning light being shouted at you. All the fonts. All of them. From Comic Sans to Times New Roman, you're going to see them all. Wait, all those fonts are visually appalling. Better make a giant slurry of colors in the background to balance it out. And let's top all of that off with some low FPS GIFs. Utter perfection. Anyway, I was actually a competent web designer, and it was clear that their official website was made by a not so competent web designer. It was basically a GeoCities site, hosted off GeoCities, which somehow made it worse. That's kind of why they hired me. A lot of their graduating customers in the final survey called the homepage a total mess. The daughter of the owner of the company had designed it, and she was not happy that people disapproved of her work. You see, I was the poor bastard in the position of cleaning up her crap, and I did make a valiant effort to be civil about my job, essentially boiling down to undoing her job. You have to understand here that at the end of the GeoCities era, people were beginning to realize that visitors to our websites didn't want to have seizures upon opening them, and the web in itself was gradually moving more towards simplicity. Drop-down menus were all the buzz, especially because the high-speed cable was not yet popularized, and nobody wanted to load an abomination that reminded them of that god-awful teeny drama with kids who had thesauruses in their back pockets. The owner's sweet baby girl had also apparently caught wind of what they were paying me, which she thought was far too inflated. Their core salespeople were making half the hourly that I was making, so why did they need me when they had her? The shithead drove a brand new Volkswagen Beetle, so obviously she wasn't hurting for money, but I digress. During our first meeting, they asked me about my plans for the website. I went over how the current website's bones were good, which they most assuredly were not, but it could use a more modern touch. I proposed simplifying it, with drop-down menus, and so on. During this meeting, the owner's daughter gradually transformed her smug smile into a sneer, and later on into a full-out scowl. Eventually, she interrupted me saying that I wasn't there to redesign the site, the purpose for which I was explicitly hired, but to do the tech stuff with her doing the design stuff. In general, People agreed with her. Maybe art director was hidden somewhere in her bullshit consultant title, but whatever. I realized then that my tenure there wasn't going to last long. To milk out every penny from my paycheck, I suggested that she handle the design side, and I build the site. Without exaggeration, everything she suggested was bordering on malicious stupidity. I did it all anyway. Barking sounds on clicking links. You got it. Wait, you want me to put how many success story pictures on one page? Well, you're the designer. Yes, I'm fairly sure that discipline is the correct spelling after all. No, I'm sure people's 56K internet connections will handle this just fine. A month and a half later, our abomination was complete. She was strangely satisfied, and to this day I wonder if the entire thing was a ploy to get back at Daddy for something. You could legitimately build a better site in the GeoCities web wizard tool. If the job mattered at all to me, I probably would have vomited in disgust. When it was unveiled, everyone in the company unanimously hated it, and all I could say was that I was just the tech guy. I was soon thereafter let go for unrelated reasons, and a month later when I visited their site I noticed they had gone back to the old one. Out of curiosity, all these years later I just looked up the school, and apparently, they still do exist. My act of malicious compliance didn't do any lasting damage to them, as their new website is about what you would expect from one in 2021. But goddammit, I am still proud of myself. If you like this story, press the like button, and leave a comment below. You can upvote this story by pressing the link in the description. If you want to hear more stories, hit the subscribe button, and press the bell icon to be alerted when a new video is posted.